Welcome to At the Vanguard. We're TB Vanguard, and our motto is for fans by fans. We showcase fans on the front line of the Team Breezy movement. This podcast is an open forum to discuss current topics as they relate to Chris Brown and his fan base.
Everybody, thank you for joining in. Welcome to At the Vanguard. Today is March 26, 2018, and we've got a few topics we're going to discuss. Why don't we all go around and say our names? I'll start. I'm Nikki.
Paula.
I'm Shay. April.
And this is Jandy.
Okay, good. Okay, well, we'll start with our social commentary piece first. So over the weekend, there was the March for Our Lives protest that went on, and it was in several major cities. I know it went on in my city. Did you guys manage to catch that online or on TV? Did you participate in the march if you were able to? Anybody?
I heard about it on the news.
That was Shay.
Okay.
What about you, April?
What were they? Oh, go ahead, April.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. Yep, I think it's good that these young people are trying to make some changes.
Yeah, I was amazed with the speech by Martin Luther King's only granddaughter. You know, he had 4 children, only one son, Martin Jr., has a daughter, very little girl, and she sort of seemed to have inherited his oratory skills because she set everybody on fire. Did anybody see her speech?
Well, there were two. There was his granddaughter, who was 9, and then there was the 11-year-old.
Right.
Excuse me, I was talking. So I saw both of those. Well, clips of both of those.
Right.
Yeah. I know that people enjoyed those quite a bit.
Yeah.
But what was interesting to me, though, what I noticed on Twitter, you had kind of like bittersweet emotions from certain people who were a part of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
And not that they had an issue with what was happening. They were very proud of the March for Our Lives campaign and all of that, but their issue was with the media because they didn't like how when the young Black students were protesting and marching in Ferguson, the ones that weren't rioting, they were still deemed as thugs, and they were just given this negative narrative, whereas these other children were given like a positive narrative.
Right.
And so people were bringing that up, and they were saying how it's so bittersweet, and that they were glad, kids were recognizing their privilege and using their privilege, but they just didn't like how it always has to be someone else to, bring whatever the issue is to the forefront. They don't take it seriously when it's strictly minorities doing it, or there's a negative label when they're doing it. So I thought that was interesting because you saw a lot of commentary going back and forth about that. And some people recognizing it and agreeing, and other people being defensive. Let's not divide. So that was very interesting. Did you guys manage to catch in the speech, though, that the young lady of Cuban descent with a shaved head?
No, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, so she's the young lady. She's been very, very vocal. I think on Time Magazine they have her in the center, and she's barefoot, and everybody else is kind of behind her. And she read off the names. Well, in her speech, she was saying the names of students who would never get to do whatever it was again, and of course, it was the names of the deceased.
Right.
Peers. But then she just stopped talking, and it was just long silence. The total speech was 6 minutes, but within that, there was at least 2 to 3 minutes of pure silence. And people were trying intentional silence.
Right.
and people were trying to explain what that meant, and well, this is how it felt, or this is how long it took them to get help, or whatever it was. But there was like a silence is uncomfortable for
Right.
some people. So there was this long silence, and people were talking about how powerful that was, and it was just very, very, very interesting.
I'm sorry I missed that though. And that is a great technique. I don't know whether she was taught that or what, but that's a great technique. Sounds powerful. It sounds like it was powerful.
Mm-hmm. And she was crying, and at first when she was silent, I thought she was trying to compose herself,
right?
Because she was crying, like she didn't want to, like she wanted to stop and then start once she was calm. But then I realized maybe she just can't become as I'm watching, because I saw it on like a clip, floating around Twitter. Then I realized, oh no, this is intentional.
Right.
Because you had people from the crowd go Emma, and how people
Oh yeah.
After a while of encouragement. But yeah, so if you get a chance, you should watch it, and definitely the young lady, the 11-year-old, who came to the podium and was like, I am here for all the African American girls, and she said her spiel. So it was nice to see those things. So, but there's clips floating online if you guys didn't catch it, because that's how I saw it. I didn't see it on TV. I just saw clips online.
Yeah. I wish I were healthy enough to have gone to it. Even though I tend to avoid crowds like that. That would have been a great one to go to. Yeah, that would have been a great one. But I noticed that the media, as you said, they did their negative slant on Black Lives Matter. But I will say this to the credit of the people there. There was lots of white people who got the point and had their signs up talking about, and one sign in particular I saw said, guns or AK-17s have, or AK whatever the rifle's called, have more rights than Black lives. I'm like, oh, that was powerful.
That's true.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I did see some of that. They had some very catchy slogans there. And while we're on that, because you mentioned the piece about guns, and this may give time for other people to come in if they're going to. Did anybody catch the drama surrounding Killer Mike and this on Saturday at all?
I heard that he forbade his children to go, but I didn't understand why. I mean, of all people, because he's always been, I would use the word militant. So, I don't know. But do you know why he did that?
Now, see, that you just gave me information I didn't know. When I came online, people were, so I follow Talib Kweli, and he's very passionate about his ideas, and so he's pretty much all day, every day, going back and forth with whoever, not disagrees, but, just having that type of discourse. And so when I came on Twitter, he and somebody else famous in the hip hop community, I forget his name. Oh, Chuck D.
Oh, okay.
He and Chuck D were commenting about Mike Jones, but in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And they were saying that even though they don't necessarily agree with, and I'll tell you what Mike did in a minute, even though they didn't agree with it, they're able to still respect, have respectful discourse. And so what happened on Saturday is Mike basically did like an infomercial for the NRA.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that played Saturday, the day of the march.
Okay.
And so now I'm aware of Killer Mike, but I don't know all his views and whatever. But I guess he has always been, pro guns.
Okay.
But there was people had very strong opinions on the fact that he would do an infomercial for the NRA because the NRA doesn't care about minorities. They don't.
No.
And so people were bringing back that issue with, what was that young man's name? Phil Philandro? The young man who was shot in the car with his fiancée.
Oh, yes.
And so I can see the name, but I can't remember how to pronounce it at the moment.
Right.
His last name, I think, was Castro or Castillo. So we'll say Phil. He was a proud gun owner, but the NRA didn't come to his defense.
Exactly.
They don't come to any minorities, any of their defense when they have guns or when they have licenses to carry a weapon. They don't come to our defense. But in any event, so Mike did that infomercial and people had a lot to say about it, and he could not understand where he screwed up at.
Wow.
Because it's like he couldn't see that what they're asking for has nothing to do with what you're trying to, what you're trying to do. So,
right.
So that was very, very interesting. But I didn't even know about the piece you said with him not allowing his kids to go. That speaks volumes as well.
It does. Wow, I did not know that. He did for the NRA. That's deep.
Pretty much.
Wow.
So they were trying to. They didn't say he was a coon, but they basically said that
Well, that was coonish behavior. I'll give it. That was coon tendencies. What?
I was going there next. But no.
Wow.
Because they're not for you. They're an organization that does not care about you at all.
That is there.
That was that.
Okay. Well, the other issue that we kind of were thinking about, of course, with Krista's comment on Shade Room. Who must not be named. They did a post about her and her boyfriend, and so Chris came under it, and because people kept tagging him. That's the whole thing. For hours and hours, thousands of people tagging him. Like, oh, you jealous? Oh, look at the, basically they wanted to see Briss come out. And Chris came on and said, they look cute together.
They look good together.
Yeah, they look good together. And they came up with the prayer hands. And okay, stop freaking tagging me. That was my take on it. That's what he said. But what did everybody else think? Let's start with you, April. Are you there?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I actually didn't see that.
Oh.
So this was news to me. I'm glad that Chris is staying professional and handling things the way you handle things professionally. Just let them, give them. Don't give them any recognition. Just keep doing the great things that Chris is doing, because all we see is great things coming for him, to him. He's guiding it. So He's in control of his emotions. He's in control of how he handles things. And I can't do nothing but respect that.
Agreed. Okay, Shay?
I saw it on Twitter, a lot of other people. And when I first saw it, I honestly, truly believe that he meant what he said. Of course, there were other people who thought that he was being petty when he really meant something else. But I truly believe that he meant what he said. It's been years now, and I'm pretty sure that he is over her. And people it's funny because people just want him to be pining after her and being obsessed and stuff like that when that's not the case. So I'm happy that he's really maturing and, he's really moved on, and people should too.
I agree. All right, Jandy?
Yeah, I agree. He's just, if he would have ignored it, then they would have kept on and just been like, yeah, he's mad, whatever. So I think he just the way he's been handling everything else, he's just being mature and he's grown up. So. But I saw today somebody said that little Dickie was still in his body. I'm sorry, but that was funny.
Funny.
They posted a screenshot of it and said, "Oh, little Dickie's still in Chris Brown's body."
That's too funny. I thought Little Dicky was, I guess his fans are called dickheads, which is interesting. But he posted, and he
That's
posted
great.
something saying, oh, the song is whatever, talking about something about the placement of the song, and it's like, oh, thank you to the dickheads you're doing. And somebody from Team Breezy was like, excuse you, don't forget Team Breezy. Yeah, I'm sure your fans are diligent too, but don't forget Team Breezy. Like, bruh, come on. But that was the only thing. but that's funny. I did not see that. That's a hoot. He's still in Chris' body. That's funny. But
How many views does the video have now?
oh God, I just posted like yesterday 40 million. So let me look and see. But it was 40 million.
45 million
Huh?
today. Did it bypass 45 million?
Did it?
Or was at 45 million today?
That's insane.
Wow.
All right, and that was this morning. I reposted that. So I don't tell them where's that now.
I'm gonna check it real quick.
Okay.
It's 45 million views. 45,
Wow.
595.
That's amazing.
That is deep. And that's why I said I was gonna do it every 10 million. Do a post every 10 million because it was hitting landmarks every few hours. I'm like, stop. I can't keep up. But that's exciting.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
doing well.
I guess we don't have anybody here who looked at the placements. I thought Tammy or
Nope.
Shay would be here. I mean Sade would be here. But yeah, I didn't get the placements because I guess I shouldn't depend on them. That's not fair. But I mean, it's been doing really well. I know that it impacted. It was the most added song on urban and rhythmic radio. That I remember. That one I remember. So that's a great result.
It's totally fine. At least we know, how the video's doing.
Oh yeah, 45,
That's good.
45 million. That's amazing.
And it hasn't even been a week, right?
It's been a week
Or has it?
now. It's
I
been
mean,
a week now.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the fact that it was, I mean, I did 40 million yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon, 40 million. It hit 40 million, and the next day is 45 million. So it's doing 4 to 5 million views a day.
Oh wow,
Yes,
that's cool.
yes. I'd like to see Tempo get back up. It's doing about 800 to 1 million a day. It had gone down from, because it was doing 1.5 million for a while, and when the Freaky Friday video first came out, it was doing 1.5 million to 2 a day. So it was doing really well, but we're not getting the residual benefits anymore. So now we have to get back to really doing that concerted effort of streaming aggressively. And I also noticed today that Questions is only 12 million away from being certified. It's at 89.
Good.
So, yeah. So it's moving. So it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll put the list out for that later. Just to get people to stream it. No, it's a few. It's a little bit away, but we'll get that going again. I thought I was like, wow. That happened suddenly.
I wanted to ask you guys, does anybody know what happened with the show that Chris was supposed to do in Miami?
Well, he did do
Didn't
live.
he tweet about running late?
He missed his flight. He missed his flight and didn't get to Club Iguanas. That's the smaller club that he was going to do. But he did do live in Miami. I think that's how they pronounce it. Don't they pronounce it live?
I thought it was live.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Live then. But yeah, he made it to that show, but he missed his flight for for the other one, and they were saying at first. Somebody was saying that he, they didn't get the money right or something like that. But the club owner said, no, we wouldn't play our customers like that. We have loyal customers, and we have proof that he missed his flight, and they posted the proof or whatever it was, and he missed his flight, and we'll just give refunds. We do are giving refunds. But I think that's all that happened with that. His name thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and he did, of course. I know a lot of people, not so much the people at the club, but the people on Twitter were like, "Oh, he's not performing yet. He's not. That's not a performance. It's a club appearance."
Yeah.
They pay them. Chris probably makes like 75 to 100 or more thousand to come in and party, and that brings in more people for them. So, I mean, that's why they do that. But it's not about a performance. Sometimes the thing is, I think they used to spoil people. Was that sometimes he would go to these places and he would just feel like performing. Like, I don't know if you remember at Club Iguanas, that was the place where he and Usher performed. Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and they really turned it out. But that was just a lucky night for that group, those people in that club, because that's not what they're there for. Looked like they had a good time last night.
Yeah, looked like he was having fun.
Yeah, and I saw Floyd Mayweather and quite a few people were there.
I was just gonna go there. There was a clip where Floyd was there, he was there, but there was somebody else. Was it LeBron? Who else was there?
LeBron was there, yes.
Yeah.
And that's why they pay them all that money, because of course everybody wants to be in the same room with them. I know it sounds funny, but that's what they want. They just want to be in the same room with them. And of course all the stars want to be wherever he is, so that's why they do it. Yeah,
he's definitely growing that beard out.
Oh yeah. Well, we really run through it really quickly today. Wow.
That's what happens.
Yeah, because you don't have that many people with that many opinions. That's the only thing with a few of us is like, yeah, we're not the most talkative bunch. We have the more talkative people, or I don't know where they are.
That's true. Well, but then, yeah, and then, we feed off each other's comments. So.
Yeah, that's that too, yeah. Feed off each other's comments.
The more people, the more comments. So, that's okay. Sometimes
April, you're strangely quiet today, April.
April watching TV.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm sorry.
She got busted.
No, I am not watching Netflix right now. Yeah, I mean, I think that we do need to. I think we need to focus on Chris's songs. I know that we're streaming Freaky Friday, but I think it's a done deal. I think that we need to focus on only his music. I do think that. I was hoping Tammy would be on here so we could talk about that. I actually haven't switched over to streaming Freaky Friday.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary, honestly.
No, I don't either. I think that it's going on its own, and it's got a lot of people listening to it constantly. I think we need to start back focusing on, like you said, questions, tempo. I'm still streaming the stuff from the Heartbreak on the Moon album. I'm still just streaming that whole album.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what
I've been doing on Spotify.
Yes, I've got my little phone set to they just run constantly.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm doing.
Phones. I just leave them running constantly because that has a momentum all its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that we need to focus on his music. Specifically his music, not his features.
Right.
That's what I think, and I was hoping Tammy would be on here so we could talk about that and she could communicate that.
I totally agree. That's why I said I just sort of. I mean, I've watched the video because it's a funny video. You can't help watching it.
Yeah, it's a great video,
Right.
absolutely. But it's not something I'm streaming. I mean, it gets
No, I'm not
played
streaming it.
within
No.
my playlist every day. You know, because I listen to a playlist every day, 3
Right.
or 4 of them, different ones. And so it'll get played, and if I'm in the mood to listen to it, like Friday, I listen to it all day on my phone. But I'm streaming Heartbreak on the Full Moon
Right.
from my laptop. So, yeah, because I like the song. It keeps me upbeat. It keeps me, productive at work. So, I need that.
Right.
I need that upbeatness so I'm not falling asleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I mean, I think that we need to communicate. You know, it's great that he's featuring other people. Yeah, we love the jams. We'll put it in our playlist, but our streaming doesn't need to change.
I agree.
We need to focus on his work only. And
that has momentum on its own, and all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know who the hell he was until Freaky Friday came out.
He's very
Me
talented.
either.
Me too.
I ain't
Very
never,
talented.
I've never heard of him.
Same here.
I ain't never heard of him.
I couldn't name one song. I was honest.
Right.
I can't even name one. This is it.
I've heard
Freaky
the
Friday.
name.
That's it.
Well, I did look.
I
I did
remember
look him up. I did look up his music.
I never even heard the name.
Talented. It's not music that I would listen to all the time, but he's very talented though. He's more of a comedy rapper.
Oh, I'm aware of the name. But
Right.
I couldn't name you a song by him.
Right.
And I'm sure I heard the song, but it's like even back then, but I can't think of it now.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google it right now, so I bet I know what it is. And just
It's
Yeah,
either I'm thinking it's either professional rapper, and there's another song called Molly, which is not actually a comedy song. It's actually a really good song, but I think it's one of those. I think professional rapper, because professional rapper has Snoop on it. And what's really creative about it is that Snoop is interviewing him for a job in hip hop, so it's very clever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very
okay.
clever. Yeah.
I listen to Yo Gotti. I listen to Big Sean. I have to listen to some kind of hood type music during the day to kind of get me through the day.
That is funny.
Yeah,
I'm the
I
same
think
way.
that's the honesty,
I don't
though.
understand that, but I don't know what it is. But something about that, I don't know. It keeps me from killing people or something. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what it
it
is.
keeps you. You need to be like, okay, yeah, go
Right.
on past my desk. Oh,
April, you need to listen to Joyner Lucas, April.
Yes.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love his music. You're right. I like him. I love him. You're right.
Yeah.
I do listen to him. He's in my playlist. Joyner Lucas. He's got some great music. I like his
He
singing.
does.
I won't listen to another. 90% of the people he collabs with, if it's someone I wasn't listening to before, I rarely pay attention to them after the collab.
Oh, but this guy, he's a different breed. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he
really,
is.
really good.
Yeah, he is super talented. He is fantastic.
Now, I might have
He
listened
is.
if he was a singer, but I don't really. I'm pretty. I'm very particular with like the rap that I listen to.
You would want to listen to
So-
his. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's good. And it's really, it's very proactivist. He's got great. You can tell he's a smart dude. That dude is smart.
like Common. Is it like listening to Common or Talib Kweli? Is it like that kind of rap?
No.
No.
No, it's not like that. It's more like he's a smart Yo Gotti or Bugatti or he's smart. He's a smart rapper. I can't remember any of them.
There's smart rappers
You know
too,
who
but I
else was
can't.
a really smart rapper? LL Cool J was a smart rapper. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know Common. Common is boring to me. I'm bored with him. I don't like him like that.
You have to be talking about something. So if I'm gonna waste my time,
Yeah.
But
I
Nikki,
can't.
let me give you
talk about something.
Nikki, let me give you an example of one. There's one called Forever, and it's a really deep song. He's talking to his son, who's an infant, and he's saying, you really, when you get a chance to go on, he has a video for them. They're not elaborate videos, but they have video for almost all of them. But he's talking to his son who's an infant. He was like, I want your mother to have an abortion. I was angry at the baby shower and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, but now you're the light of my life, and I hope you forgive me. You don't understand my words right now, but when you're older, I hope when you do understand, I hope you forgive me. I can't remember he rhymed, of course, but it was really deep like that. It was really good. And I actually still have somebody I want to send that to, but who's kind of rejected his child.
What's the name of that one again?
Huh?
What's the name of that one?
Forever.
Forever. He said Forever, but there's also another one. The one with him, I can't remember the name of it.
Suicide? The one with the suicide?
Yeah, I think that one's called Sorry.
That was called Sorry. Yeah, Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, that one is like, wow.
Because he's talking. Yes, he's talking from the point of view of the person who committed
white people
suicide,
and black people.
And he's talking
giving both sides of the story.
Oh yeah, but he's talking about the person who committed suicide and the people who are left behind. He's like the voice for both sides, and he's understanding of why that person was tormented, but at the same time he's talking, the anger and misery of the people who are left to mourn them. So it's really good.
Yeah, he's got great. He's gonna go far. He's a smart rapper. So. I like the way he raps. He raps about real life, but it's just even the way he puts it in, the way he just lays those lyrics. It's fantastic. He's really good. I like his music. I really do. He's somebody I do listen to. He's in my playlist.
But I downloaded a lot of his music after I first heard him. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to have this.
Yeah, he's good.
But,
and when we were talking about the NRA stuff, I certainly understand why the kids are marching. I totally get it. I think it's important that we be safe and we be careful who gets guns. But I don't, I'm in Texas. We are pow here. And we are, we're open carry here. And we're gun owners too.
Well, yeah. That was the other
it's
thing.
Really, yeah, it's really not about trying to contribute to the NRA. No, it's really about trying to protect yourself and be in a position to protect yourself, because you have so many people now who are just road rage. I mean, people are dying on these streets, in this traffic, in this whatever, because you don't know what may pop off. You need to be prepared. You really do. And I'm sorry, as a minority, we need to be prepared, and we need to be, we do need to be gun owners. We need to be able to protect ourselves and teach our children how to protect themselves, because guess what? Everybody else is doing that.
Yeah, but remember, that's not what the issue is. And I think that's what the NRA did to get people on their side. Because it's not about you and the person.
You're right.
Let me finish up. Because they're talking about military weapons. You can buy an AK-40. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs that for protection. You are not buying. You're not hunting with a high-powered rifle. You would have nothing but buckshot in your animals, your food. You certainly wouldn't be hunting with that, and you're not using it for protection. No, that's clearly to hunt other people. So yeah, that's the thing that the NRA used, because people don't take away my right. No, we're not trying to take away your right. Just because I grew up with guns. I mean, not using them, but my father, my grandfather, they all have guns. They hunt. But
yeah. I mean, I understand that, but I feel like, I can't. I mean, you have a lot of people who have their preference of what type of guns they like. So,
but not that. I'm sorry. Not where you can walk into school and spray that many people. That's just no.
So here.
Well, that's a mental issue. That really, to me, what I'm saying. anybody, it doesn't matter what kind of gun anybody can walk in. If you are unarmed, you're not going to be prepared for whatever they walk in there with.
It doesn't compare to a machine gun like that. Not machine gun. What do you call it? A military weapon like that. You have some chance to run. If I walk in there with a pistol or a shotgun, somebody has. I mean, you can get some people, but there's a chance to get away. With those guns that rapid fire bullets, no ma'am. You can take out a whole lot more people. It's not the same.
I think that honestly, the issue is this. I think people understand that they're trying to get more strict gun laws, that they're trying to have it regulated so certain like people like at 18 years old, you don't need that kind of rifle. You're not even mature enough to handle life, let alone have a rifle that can kill 20 people, with one spray. But I think the issue, in a minute. But I think the issue is just the idea of someone feeling like they're not going to be able to have their gun for quote unquote protection. They don't like it. So I think that twist in it has stopped some people from seeing the idea of no, it's not a matter of you not being able to have a gun. It's let's have laws in place so that the type of people who are going around and shooting people up aren't able to have access to those type of guns. It's amazing that in certain states, so many states, there's no type of real regulation.
And the whole thing of mental health. Remember the guy was mentally ill in Florida. President Obama had a regulation and a law in place that people who were mentally ill could not get access to a weapon. And what did our president do? Our current president, your current president, he overturned that law.
Yeah. Your current president, ain't my president.
Your president. That's your president.
So, but yeah. So I think I don't. It's not. It's such an iffy situation because there are a lot of.
It is a very big issue.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're gonna be able to agree on that. I just, I just like you. I grew up with guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with guns, just like all of you. I mean, yes, we had family who, but we grew up with guns. We're from the South. That's just what we do here. So, I just don't. I don't know. I think it's the person, not the gun. I really do.
No, ma'am. No. I'm sorry. Can't do that.
But whether it's the person or the gun, if it is the person, you should be for regulating who can have a gun and who can't if it's the person. If you should be for, I would think that you would be for not wanting someone who has a known mental
I am for. Yeah, I'm for people going through the screening process. It's like we all have to go through it.
Okay.
Yeah, there needs to be a screening process. It needs to be a more stricter screening process. You're right, but that still doesn't stop parents from buying their children guns or having access to the guns that the parents have in the home. It's not going to stop that. So I just think this is a...
But this was a kid who was able to buy guns himself, like this last one.
Yeah,
they could buy it themselves. They didn't have to use their parents' guns. They bought their own.
The majority of them actually do get their parents' guns that have been going into the schools. It's normally they get their parents' guns.
That's true as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Statistically, that's how the kids actually get it. Because a lot of them are 15, 16. It's going on. It's like happening every day now. It's like every day.
And that's what's
kids
so crazy about it, too.
Yeah, it's happening like every single day. Breaking news. This school, that school. It's every day.
But then they're talking about the issue of having schools, like metal detectors and all that. Kids who go to inner city schools have to put up with metal detectors, the whole nine, and yet these suburban
they're not doing that in inner city schools.
Huh?
And that's another thing. I was going off of what you were saying.
Right.
The inner city schools in most states have metal detectors, and this is
Right.
not happening in inner city schools.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
So that's something else they need to look at. They would rather
Yeah.
arm teachers than put metal detectors in the school.
Now that's crazy. Some of these
Put
teachers,
metal
oh hell no.
detectors in there. Put metal detectors in there. I don't even understand why they just didn't do it. You know, they
Right.
put the fake security in place, and they're harassing mostly minority kids who attend these other schools, you know,
Right.
and doing stuff they're not even really paid to do, instead of protecting, you know, the kids in the school. So I know one other thing I wanted to say, like when I was younger, my dad would always tell me the rules, like certain rules in other countries, and he always talked about how England or London, there's no guns.
Right.
You know, he would always talk about how the people can't have them, but the cops don't have them either.
Right.
And that makes the difference. He said here, they would never do that. They would never do that.
No.
But they could. You know, I mean, that's not saying people wouldn't die. They could die, but it's different. You know, but that's a completely different type of balance, to where, quote, it is not legal for any of them to have them, cops included. And I just find that so interesting. And they have not changed that.
Well, they have certain. No, they do have some policemen, like some detectives have
Well,
them,
yeah.
but not. It's not common. It's not common. Most of them do not have weapons.
No, well, the Royal Guards obviously have them, but it's not. You know, it's not something.
But I just think ultimately we need to understand that when somebody is determined to do something, they're going to do it by any means necessary.
Yeah,
you
but
can't stop
that.
You're not going to be able to stop it.
That's not an excuse to just act like we can't do anything about it, because we got to do something. We got to do something. You can't just say, "Oh well, we can't stop it," and then just let it go. And I don't think that's the answer either. I don't believe that.
I didn't say that.
No, but I think
that when people are determined, you cannot change that. You're gonna get. I think that yes, I think metal detectors would be great. Don't know why they haven't thought to do that in schools. But you really need them everywhere now. To be honest with you, you need metal detectors everywhere. You need them at the grocery store. You need them everywhere.
In the church.
Not that.
Yeah.
You need them at the Walmart, honey. You need them at the Kroger. You need them at the library. You need them everywhere.
They just get such an unsafe spot. Well,
you need them at the mall. You need them everywhere.
Yeah.
You need them in every job. You need them everywhere.
When I think about that, the church in Charleston,
Yeah, you need them in the churches.
Yeah, and everywhere.
You need them everywhere.
Well, I'm going to say this. Do they stop bombs? Do they detect bombs? Because that's another thing people have to worry about.
That sure is.
They detect some, but they've got plenty of rubber bombs. So no, they don't. They're rubber bombs too, but they're rubber guns and rubber bullets. So
yeah. But I think we can all agree that something needs to be done to at least, make a shift in some kind of way. Because it is true that people are going to do what they're going to do. However, people will find different ways to do things. So maybe someone, if you put metal detectors in schools, maybe they won't come to school shooting up people. Maybe they'll go back to, doing something else. There has to be some kind of progress with that piece. Because it is a testament that this is not happening in inner city schools.
Right.
People are not getting shot up, and there is a reason for that. And these kids have access to guns.
Yes.
Some of them are in gangs. It's not like they can't get a gun. They're dying in the streets. They're dying in their homes, but they're not dying at school.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they're not dying in church. So, metal detectors, is at least in the schools, because it's rare that you're getting, mass shootings in the grocery store. You're not getting, if you get shootings at churches, a specific targeted, group, some idiot.
Yeah.
But again, that's still a little like rare. That's not mainstream. It happens, but it's not mainstream. But shootings in the school is definitely mainstream, and I don't know what it will take. Somebody actually said that on the news the other day that they were going to throw. They collect like these rocks that were like a pound each, and so the students decided that they were going to throw rocks, and the teacher was going to throw rocks because they might get somebody, and that would make them feel a lot safer than having a gun. Not once did they say metal detector, and I just sat there, and these rocks are huge, so I was just like, okay, well, do you? You're gonna stone a man to death? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock you. I mean, that wouldn't make me feel safe. I mean, I don't know how good your aim is.
Right.
You, but
you gotta have a nice arm if that's
yeah,
the case.
I would be advocating for metal detectors. So that is funny.
People.
But yeah, we'll probably have to agree to disagree because it's iffy. It's an iffy thing. There's pros and cons.
It's a big topic. It's a huge topic, and everybody has a different perspective. But I totally understand where you're coming from. Metal detectors would be great, but probably the cost.
No, if they can afford to put them in inner city schools, they can afford to put them in a suburban school.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing it. I mean, that's really a good. But I haven't even seen anything about metal detectors on anything about this on the subject. Just I have not seen
it. That is? Why do you think that is?
I think it's cost probably. I really do.
I don't think so.
Honestly, I think, and now that I'm talking about it, and I could be just way up, I think it's very strategic that it's put in inner city schools to give you that feeling of jail.
Right.
Like
our feeling of safety. Your teacher feels comfortable. She will show up to work because you have a metal detector and she's not worried about this kid stabbing her or shooting her in the classroom.
But even that's a stereotype, though. But it's just the stereotypes are unreal. But yeah. So I mean, that doesn't stop a student from beating you up.
Right.
That might stop them from
no, it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah, that might stop them from bringing a switchblade, but it's very strategic that.
Yeah, I can survive maybe getting my ass beat. I don't know that I'm going to be able to survive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive a gunshot or a knife to my heart. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's
true.
But I think,
and really, you have at least a fighting chance if you are in an altercation. Because, he's going to, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's more than one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just do. But, I've worked in schools where, I've worked in schools with metal detectors. I've also worked in schools where after the kids, I was a teacher for 5 years with Dallas Independent School District. So, I've worked where the kids waited for a teacher to come out and beat her down in the parking lot. I've seen that. I've done that, and it's just interesting. I mean, because honestly, honey, it starts at home. The charity begins at the house.
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids have been sent to these schools with these teachers, with parents having an expectation of teachers to raise their children.
Right.
And
you have that expectation.
At the end of the day, too, and let's be real too, a lot of them problems that these kids have, that starts at the house. That's starting at the house. The mental issues, that's starting at the house. They already see the signs, just like you see the signs when they're remote and got black makeup on and dresses. When they're males, it's weird. Black fingernail polish, everything's about death, writing. You see that. And you can try to bring them out of that, but that sometimes it's just too far gone. So, I mean, it's just, parents need to get back involved with raising their children and being involved, and just like I do. I mean, I have cameras all over this house. I know exactly what's going on. Just like I'm able to get into them text messages and read what I need to read. If you acting moody, we gonna have a problem. If you got a moody, because guess who else is moody? I am. So ain't no two moody people gonna be living up in my house. So no. But I've always been like that with my children. From start to finish, we've always been like this. They know what's up. We're the parents. You follow these rules. School, that's your job. That's your job. You're to perform well at school and be respectful of the people in those school systems. So, but you just have a lot of people who are not doing that with their children. I mean, they just aren't.
Oh, most of them don't even know where their kids are most of the time.
They sure don't. No. They sure don't, honey. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of them don't even. I mean, parents are working. I've been in situations where I've seen where the parent is working 2 and 3 jobs. You can't raise children working 2 and 3 jobs.
Yeah. With
no help. With nobody making sure that child has someplace to go. And, they get angry. Those kids are angry. That's something else. There are a lot of angry children.
Yeah.
But again, you got somebody to... Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the kids, too. Because some kids, depending on the relationship that they have with their parents. Because my parents worked 2 and 3 jobs. When I was in high school, I wasn't out in the street cutting up or whatever it was. But that was just me. Right. My brother's a different story. Everybody's different. But you're right. Some kids.
Yeah, when there's nobody there to comb your hair, to make sure you're washing your hair, to make sure your clothes are washed, those are things that those kids are being picked on in school. And something else that I noticed as a teacher, now I was the kind of teacher that if I saw children being picked on, I stopped that shit.
Yeah, I did too.
It.
Yes.
Yeah, teachers don't do that. Teachers don't do that. They literally just turn a blind eye to it. So there's a lot of things that they can stop. They just don't. Because they don't feel like it or it's too much trouble.
Yeah.
They don't want to get involved.
And it's such a catch-22 because you have the teachers that want to get
involved.
It
really is.
Then you have the parents, don't tell my kid what to, there's a disconnect.
There's a huge disconnect. And something else, too, you have a lot of really young parents. Kids, raising kids.
Because they were kids, so they had their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know how to. They don't know. It's a lot of stuff they don't know what to do because guess what? Nobody taught them. It's generational.
Mm-hmm.
It's generational.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, to me, the way I look at when I was in education, that was a needle in a haystack. That's a needle in a haystack job. There are so many things. Okay. There are so many things that need to be done. So many things. And as one person, you will burn yourself out trying to do it.
Yep.
I do to make money at all.
What'd you say?
Right.
I said it's public service positions, teaching, mental health, social work. Those aren't jobs you do for money. Those are jobs you do.
Right. But no, those are jobs because you love it. You love it. But you can easily. I work with a lot of teachers who were just in the career because that's what they went to school to do, but they didn't even have a passion for it.
Which is crazy.
Did not care. And that's bad. That's bad. That alone was very annoying to me, working with people who were like that or wanting to spend time inside of the, your teachers' meetings or whatever, talking about how bad the student is. And, I tried to mentor children. I really did. But again, when you're only one person, it's just hard to do it. It's hard because there are so many of them who need mentors.
Yeah.
It's so many. And it makes you want to cry. It really does. The plight of our situation socially.
Yeah. But even as a mentor,
Yeah, it really does.
you're fighting a battle too, because I do that as well with crisis stabilization with kids, and it's hard because you only see your client however many days or however many hours,
Right.
and then that client goes back to their home environment and whatever's around
Right.
their school environment. So whatever those negative influences are, it's very, you can only pull them away from that momentarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a short period of time.
Right. And so unless their parent or grandparent or whoever moves them to a better neighborhood or whatever program you put them in, they have to take to it, because otherwise when they have influences and all those things, the peer pressure, all of that is there. So it's almost like each kid needs a mentor and then and then something else. And their friends
it's almost
really
it is.
Too.
The parents need to be being mentored too. The environment, whatever environment they're in, you almost really need a home-based program that helps them continue to provide the support. What they're doing is not being undone.
I always like when kids get to go out of their comfort zone, out of their community, someplace else. And not necessarily to where, a predominantly different community to where they feel, weird, but to where they're just experiencing other things so that they know there's other things that they can do, positive things that they can do.
And other ways to live, all of that.
Yes. That, because it's so important, and kids may not realize it when they're in high school. You take them maybe out of a poor community and you put them in an affluent school. There's struggles with that, obviously, but they may not realize the other benefit that might come with that, which might be access to better learning tools, right? Or access to learning about different careers and different type of sports, and opening your mind up to other things than what you knew on the block that you were on. So it's always good to have those different perspectives, but I don't know what's going to happen now, with kids and everything that's going on. I mean, I think the younger generation, a lot of them, not the ones who feel like stuff should be handed to them and whatever, but some of the other ones are doing a really good job with their empathy and their compassion towards others and wanting to, make a difference. And they're very well educated, and they're just trying to they fit in all of this. So that group, it's pretty promising with what I'm seeing, and I think that as they get older, there's going to be some awesome things going on. I just want to figure out how to reach the other kids, the ones that aren't where their peers are, the ones that are running through the mall, and we have to have curfews in our malls because y'all are tearing up the mall. I want to reach those kids, and I don't know how.
Right.
Those kids, because they've got their own type of dysfunction going on. So.
No, in the end, we did have a good discussion about it. We came back around to it.
Thank you, April. I'm glad I watched TV. She came right back and was like,
This is a good debate.
Made it to time. Yay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in and participating. Great discussion on what's going on in the world, and of course, our fave, Chris.
Yes.
Yes. We love Chris.
Don't we, though?
We do. We love him.
Yes. So we'll make sure that we all tune back in. Are we doing it Monday, right, Paula? Next Monday?
Next Monday.
April 2nd? Okay.
Unless something big happens, then we may have to jump on it before that. But for the most part, yeah, it's going to be next Monday.
Most likely, we'll catch all you guys 7 o'clock time. April 2nd. All right?
Okay.
All right, everybody. You guys have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thanks for joining us on this episode, and we hope you'll join us again at the Vanguard.